What if what you are afraid of doing in your relationships would actually make them a lot better? And not only that, but would actually benefit them and in favor of you. All those things that you're afraid to say because maybe you're afraid of the person or the people leaving you. All of the boundaries that you want to set, all of the things that you want to say, all of the ways that you want to express your needs and what it is that you're looking for in the relationship. Maybe you're afraid of it, right? But what if communicating all that stuff would actually make your relationships better? And sometimes, actually, I know that this sounds kind of like contrary and paradoxical, but sometimes what makes a relationship better is it actually ending, right? I have ended a lot of relationships in my life more recently. When I say a lot, I don't mean like a lot, a lot. I just mean like I'm looking at a lot of people that I've previously associated with, and I've just, I've realized that I don't actually need these people in my life, especially not when they don't follow through for me, especially when they emotionally abandon me. And the most important thing is recognizing that these behaviors that they've carried out have actually nothing to do with me. You know, I used to take emotional abandonment personally. I used to think that it had something to do with me until I realized that it doesn't. So it's fascinating when when a person might be hesitant to try to change dynamics in relationships or try to communicate what it is that they're feeling or what it is that they need. They might be afraid, right? And I understand it because I have too. Years ago in my life, one of the very first relationships that I looked at that I was like, I can't keep this around, right? And it was actually somebody that I considered to be very close until I found out that this person was using me, right? Um, Being real with yourself, being real with what it is that you actually want in your relationships and what it is that you're looking to create, right? Um, it's important. If you don't communicate what it is that you want in your relationships, you're not going to get it. You're not. And I have dealt with people that don't give me what I need. I've also dealt with people that don't give me what I need because I don't communicate what I need, right? But I've also dealt with people that leave when I communicate what I need. And it's not like crazy absurd shit. I'm not like laying all of these things on this person, all of this pressure, all of these demands. It's more so just like, hey, listen, if you say that we're going to do something, we're going to fucking do it. Period. Right? I don't like emotional abandonment. It's rooted in emotional unavailability, which is rooted in emotional immaturity. It's not attractive, it's not healthy. It is abusive. It is. Emotional abandonment is abusive. When you say that you're going to do something for somebody and you don't follow through, just the way that it is, right? But the very thing that you're afraid of doing is oftentimes the very fucking thing that you need to do. The very thing that can actually um, fast track your relationships. You'll find out who's really in your life when you do these things. You'll find out who's really there. You know, the very thing that you're afraid of doing. I know that there are multiple. Sorry, too close to the mic. Um, I know that there are. I just lost my train of thought. Um, all I'm really saying right now is that there are ways that you can approach your relationship that will really transform them in powerful ways. And a lot of those things require for you to get uncomfortable and be prepared to have a change of direction in your relationship. That's the reality of it, right? Because if someone's been very comfortable with you just tolerating the way that they are in their relationship, um, and you want things to change, right? It's not, I mean, oftentimes people just get comfortable, right? People just get, sorry, there was somebody outside my window that was really distracting. Um, Oftentimes people just get comfortable with you being available for them to do whatever they want to do, right? And they have absolutely nothing to offer in return. The wildest thing let me do a little bit of storytelling for the next half of this video. I've realized recently, and I'm so grateful that this is a realization that I've come to. I'm so grateful that I'm going through this growth because it's so important. It really is. Um, there's somebody that I've been hanging out with recently. No names, but I've realized that I do a lot for this person, and I actually don't get anything in return. Now, the fascinating thing is that this is me repeating a pattern. I've been used to relationships throughout my life where I do a lot for people, a lot. A boundaryless or permeable boundaried amount of a lot, right? And it wasn't until recently that I've started to look at what it is that I want in my relationships. And I looked at that relationship and I was like, wow, I don't get anything in that relationship. Actually, I just instead listen to a person talk about a bunch of shit that I don't give a fuck about, right? And so it's like, oh, well, maybe part of me is still looking for love and validation and approval. And so therefore, with that, I settle and I listen to a person tell me about things that I don't care about, right? And it's fascinating because whenever I catch myself doing that, it's like, well, do you want to communicate what it is that you actually need here? Or do you want to just realize that this is the way that this person is and it's probably not going to change even if you communicate that, right? Um, and it was fascinating because something with that person happened recently that was very weird. Not going to talk about it, but I communicated a boundary to that person, and that person got angry. Well, maybe not entirely angry, but like you could tell that there was a difference in energy. And at this point in my life and moving forward, I'm focused on what it is that I need. And if I'm not getting what it is that I need, then I'm not going to stay. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter, you know, the other person. Like I'm more focused on cultivating healthy relationships for myself because I haven't had those throughout my life, right? Um, and what I'm saying is that your relationships will change for the better. It doesn't matter if the person leaves or if the person changes. If you communicate what it is that you need, that thing that you're afraid to say is probably the most important and beneficial thing that you can say. That change that you can make in your relationship, whether it's, setting a boundary, communicating a boundary, or whatever it is, right? This could end up being the most important and beneficial thing that you do because whether it actually changes the behavior of the person or the person just decides to leave and that they don't want to be in your life anymore, it's a win-win because you've weeded out, this, that, and the other. And let me make this very clear. We idealize people. I mean, not everyone does. A lot of us have a lot of training and experience in idealizing people. So we have these narratives and these rhetorics of how people can be in our lives, right? Unless that's communicated to them, the likelihood that that's going to actually play out is highly unlikely, right? Um, so understanding that you're also creating this like fantasy version of this person that doesn't actually add up to reality, and you're screwing yourself over because you're setting yourself up with this idea that this could possibly happen when it's not going to, right? And that's just the reality of it. So understanding that is very important. Absolutely. Um, have the conversation. Say what you need to say. Say what you're afraid to say. If that person leaves, if they don't want anything to do with you anymore, great. You're closer to yourself. You're closer to, you know, something that's more important to you rather than being with somebody who doesn't add value to your life. Let me end off with this because I think this is really important. I saw somebody on social media say this. I think it was Julian himself. I don't know his. I don't think I know his actual name. But he was saying that it's not our job to sell ourselves to people. And I realized that throughout my entire life, especially in codependency, that's what I've been doing, right? Instead of trying to sell ourselves to people, what we should be we should be approaching it from a standpoint of buying or investing. Like, oh, should I invest in you. Oh no, no, I'll pass. I'll pass. No, no thanks. You know, should I buy you? Forget about me trying to sell myself to you. Should I buy you? Why are you worth buying? What value do you add to my life? And this is not to objectify people. It's not. It's like I've spent time around people that suck the energy out of me, right? Energy vampires. This is about looking for people that actually have value to add to your life. And I'm realizing that being around people that are just fucking drama ridden and fucking vomit up their shit all over me are not worth being around. It doesn't matter how physically attractive somebody is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is that they are adding healthy value to my life. What are the conversations like? What are the quality of the conversations like? What exists in the boundaried intersubjective space between self and other, between me and that person, right? Do I want to listen to them tell me about their ex or this, that, and the other, or some bullshit about their family? I've realized, and this isn't always the case, but I've realized that whenever conversations consist of people talk, it's usually just drama and gossip ridden, right? Rather, let's talk about fucking theories. Let's talk about ideas. Let's talk about deep, dope shit, right? I got so used to listening to people talk about their drama and their bullshit and vomit all their nasty shit onto me, right? I'm not interested in that anymore. I'm interested in cultivating relationships that are deeper and not just superficial and, you know, require like actual intimacy and vulnerability. So, doing the difficult thing is the most important thing. Communicating what it is that you like or dislike, and if they leave, they leave. Good. You've weeded that person out. That's a plus. That's a positive thing. Love to see it. It's wonderful. Um, but yeah, lean into the fear. Lean into the potential of how you saying something could change the dynamics of the relationship for the better. Which it might not look like the better in the short term because you're like, great, this person just left me. Great, this person wants nothing to do with me. Okay, cool. Move on. Keep going.